Hello folks, this is the Blackbeard on today's One Piece chapter 820. Now, this got released on Wednesday, and so I'm going to go out on a limb and say that the author is going to take a break today. The fuck? Shit. So chapter 820, Dog and Cat have a history. So Niku and you have a history together. Because a while back they said that they were traveling along the seas, and after the journey had ended, they become to hate each other. They even saw Shanks along the way. Now in the 500 million man arc, we have the Toronto Kingdom, where the birds and tribal guys are living together in harmony. One guy is wearing a raccoon mask to make himself look like Chopper, and the other guy is looking at Chopper's wanted post. They are very happy to see him, and they have a store called the Tanuki drugstore for medicine. We have a fan art of Blackbeard, Raizu. Anyway, the chapter ended after Jack said that he was gonna kill the elephant itself. Now the scene takes place back in, whereas Neku says, "That's it. I knew that straw hat looked familiar." And then Luffy says, "You know, actually said the same thing. Do you all know Shanks?" And then yours says, "Well, Nico and I both, for a time, rode aboard Roger's ship." What the heck? What the hell? So it turns out Dog and Cat were both part of the Power King's crew. Luffy yells out, "What? You're telling me that you two were also part of the Power King's crew?" And the Dog says, "I guess you can say that." Like, these guys needs to be a Gold Rush's crew. It's really, really awesome. So, and then Nina Rashi says, "We rode above ships as Lord Odin's vassals. For example, we were also aboard Whitebeard's Moby Dick." And Luffy is surprised as what extra surprised. Usopp yells out, "What?" And then Inu says, "Therefore, when our Lord was later scouted out by Roger, we accompanied him." And then Brook yells out, "Wait just a second, Whitebeard?" And the Dog says, "In terms of how long ago it was, well, we weren't any older, not much more important than the sort of apprentices that were Shanks and Buggy once were." And then Luffy yells out, "Oi, hold it, wait a bloody second, I can't keep up with all this info." And then the Dog and Cat, Inu says the two of us didn't accompany Roger to Raptor, though. That's stupid. Like, why the hell they didn't go with Roger? Anyways, Usopp is carefully writing down his information. He says that okay, so first, Oda and Inu and Niku both were on Raipu's ship, and Niku yells out, "Oh man, that takes me back. Those were the days, I tell you." He says, "New races, new places, new climbs. I'm seeing it all. I see clouds floating in the sky, and then in your red yells out, islands float on the sea floor, sunlight shining each and every day. Our hearts and bodies leaping for joy. Breathtaking days of adventure." And then Usopp says, "Weren't you two trying to kill each other like 10 minutes ago?" And Luffy says, "Kima, were you and the others on Whitebeard's ship too?" And then Kimon says, "No, we remain in Wano." And Kanjiro says, "In fact, we tried our best to convince Lord Odin to sail aboard a pirate ship." He also says that Wano country is an isolationist one. Kanjiro said, "Leaving its borders is a crime. Yet Lord Odin always harbored reservations regarding the laws of his own country. He was quite the maverick," says Kanjiro. Now, Kimon says, "We made our acquaintance with Whitebeard and Roger briefly when they landed at Wano. So maybe Roger and Whitebeard were both out on Wano at the same time." And Kemon says they had a sense of honor about them. I do not think them as bad men. However, for a daimyo of the Wano country to go aboard a pirate vessel, it was unprecedented to say the least. As the retainers, and then Luffy yells out, "Whatever. The important thing is y'all know Shanks." And he asks, "What about Rayleigh?" And Raiji says, "But of course." And then Frankie says, "If you sail with Roger, that means you had a chance to be aboard the Oro Jackson, a ship constructed by my master, Tom." And then Raiju yells out, "What? Your ship, right? Tom's apprentice?" And then Brooke yells out, "Then you surely must know the doctor, Doctor Crook." And then he gets interrupted by Nami, and she said, "Hold that thought, Brooke. Sorry for interrupting you, but I need to get something straight." And then Nami asks, "I'm starting to get worried about a route." And somebody says, Probably Luffy. And the conversation goes towards, she points us out towards the logs of my log points. We're not following them at all. We're not following them at all. Now, is that okay? And Nami says, "We met up with Traffy, like Trafalgar, and they happened to get our hands on River Cordilleras to Zoo. Now we just happened to come across the information regarding the road poneglyphs. According to what our Crocus of Twin Capes told us, as long as you follow the logs, eventually all the routes will collapse into one. So I assume that was where a rafter would be." And then Neku says, "Crocus, eh? Another nostalgic name. What's that old geezer up to these days?" And above Nami, there's a map of the last half of the red line. So right now, if we don't count Fishman Island, the Straw Hats have only been to 3 islands so far, like Punk Hazard, Dressrosa, and now Zoo. Anyways, Luffy says he's doing fine. Well, he was when we saw him 2 years ago. And Luffy says he was always searching. He was also searching for this one pirate crew. I wonder if. Well, actually, Nico Mamushi says he was always searching for this one pirate crew. I wonder if. And Brooke clears it up. Yes, that will be my crew. They all died. And Nico is surprised to sell, and he yells out, "Eh!" And Nami gets annoyed, and she yells out, "Did any of you hear a word I just said?" And Inu says, "Yes, loud and clear. If you are curious as to what lies ahead at the end of the route the log leads one on, you should go see for yourself. There is indeed a route upon which all three these needle point to the same place. However, this journey that all of you are currently embarking on has already made that destination redundant, if you will." And Nami says, "Huh? What do you mean?" And Inu says, "Normally, you are supposed to first learn the mystery of the poneglyphs and the writings of the ancients at the place to which those log post needles all point." And he also says, along with the civilization that birthed those stones, as well as the existence of the Lost Island, Raftail, Roger himself greatly revised the course of his journey after reaching that point. And Nami is extra surprised. Inu says, "Crocus too was a member of the Pirates King crew, one of those who learned everything." He says, "Assuming he has no reason to hate you, I doubt he will lie to you." And the dog says, "Are you the navigator? You're doing quite a fine job." And he finally says, "Do not worry, you have not lost your way. Continue on." And Nami blushes and she says, "Okay." And then Luffy yells out, "Oh, I don't know what's going on, but our navigator is something, isn't she?" And Nami starts blushing, and she said, I am aware I've been doing at least an okay job, but..." And Lutop says, "That's the navigator of the future Pirate King for you." And Nico yells out, "You really are a lively bunch, aren't you?" And Luffy kept on slapping Nami until she yelled out, "Enough with that slapping, that hurts." And Usopp says, "Seriously though, you guys are all so well connected with the legends that is making my head spin. Just like back when we met Rayleigh." And Momo says, "I too haven't made the acquaintance of this Raja, but I do not remember it very well." And he says, "Momo said I was quite young." And then Usopp says, I see, you don't remember." And he yells out, "Wait a second, you little liar. Roger died almost 20 years ago. Who the hell are you confusing him with?" And Nico starts laughing, and he says, "Lord Odin's adventures are truly a rich tale. One day we shall tell it in its entirety." Now the scene changes towards... And he says, "Now then, from now until our fight with Kaiju, we all have a great many things to do." Kinemon says, we must not overlook the slightest detail. Kinemon says, "As I told you earlier, we are at the moment of gathering samurai to join us in our fight in Wano itself." And Kinemon says, "As such, there is a certain man we are trying to meet. He may be able to help increase our strength quite considerably." And Luffy asks, "Who?" Nico says, "Former first division of the commander of the Blackbeard Pirates, Marco the Phoenix." Fuck! Marco's gonna get involved. This is nice. That's nice as hell. And everyone is surprised because I wonder how long Marco the Phoenix will jump back into the scene after 2 years. From chapter 801, Edward Weevil wants to chase after him, so I wonder how that end up. But Italians told the injury. Marco is not a swordsman, so what the hell can he help do exactly besides being a phoenix? And there's a pre-time skip appearance of him, and Luffy yells at Marco, and Luffy says, "That's right." And Nico said, "That's right. You guys must be friends, huh? Is he gonna join us?" But actually, that's what Frankie said. Frankie said, "That's right. You guys must be friends, huh? Is he gonna join us?" But didn't he a year ago after that incident? And then Inu says, "Well, yes, don't get your hopes up. Even if we manage to find him, our chances are slim." And Usopp said, and Luffy says, "That name sounds so familiar. Marco, who?" And then Nami says, "He sort of looks like a pineapple." Luffy says, "Oh, that guy. Oi, oi, oi." What the hell? How does Ramen know what Marco the Phoenix looks like? What the heck? She knows everybody. And I think Ramen says that the remnants of Whitebeard's crew led by Marco clashed with Teats Blackbeard Pirates in a ferocious battle. It's been a year since the payback war as that skirmish has come to be known. Since it ended, the captains of Whitebeard's crew have all but vanished. That's what... Well, somebody says, the remnants of Whitebeard's crew led by Marco clashed with Teats Blackbeard Pirates in a ferocious battle. It's been a year since the payback war as that skirmish has come to be known. Since it ended, the captains of Whitebeard's crew have all but vanished. What the hell? During Whitebeard's battle against Blackbeard, Marco was about to come towards Whitebeard's aid, but Whitebeard told him to stand down because I think the Blackbeard pirates were a little bit too dangerous because they have the level 6 criminals along with Blackbeard's own crew of Jesus Burgess, Van Augur, Laffy and Dr. Death. So, anyways, the story continues, and Nico says, if he still lives, I have a bit of idea where our friend Marco might be. And Luffy says, oi, 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 so Marco and Olive fought with Blackbeard? And Robin says, that's right, both sides brought their full forces. It was quite a large-scale affair. Unfortunately, Marco suffered an overwhelming defeat. It was only after that war that Blackbeard began to be acknowledged among the names of the Yonku. Like Mark of the Phoenix against Darkness Blackbeard. What the heck? So yeah, there's a lot more stuff that happened in the 2 year time skip. And Luffy says that's how it went down that damn Blackbeard. Luffy yells out that God damn it. Luffy yells out, so that's how it went down. That damn Blackbeard. And then Usopp says, This was huge news. Where were you? Under a rock? And then Luffy says, I heard that after I launched Constitution during the Summit War, the remaining Whitebeard pirates saved my life. And there's a flashback of Marco telling Jimmy, take Ace's little brother with you. And then Luffy says, I want to see them again so I can say thank you. And Negu says, as you probably can tell, we need time for all of this to be done. And Luffy said, that makes sense. Got it. And then Luffy said, I guess we'll be splitting up again. We gotta pick a place to meet up again. And Kima says, we will return to Wano. We must increase our allies and begin preparations. And Zoro says, will you be okay going back? You're being targeted by the Shogun, aren't you? And Kima said, I'm most worried about the safety of my comrades. And Law says, with our submarine, we at least don't have to be worried about being found during our voyage. All that remains is securing a safe haven on the island itself. And Niku says, I will leave with my underlings in search of Marco. Let us meet on Wano. We'll need to make a very card for Kimon. And Kimon says, And Raizu starts coming out, and the minks yell out, there he is, it's Raizu Dono. And the minks yell out, Raizu Dono, welcome back. And the other mink says, we're so glad you're unharmed. You are bound. Are your hands and feet okay? We're sorry for keeping you locked up, Raizu. And the minks yell out, let's have a banquet. And the mink says, to celebrate Raizu's health, the reconciliation of our two rulers, and a safe reunion with the Kuzuki family. And Raizu says, you damn minks. Every last one of you. Ninja art. And he starts crying, and he yells out, I love you, no jutsu. Raizu. And the minks start yelling out, Raizu, Raizu, Raizu. And he starts proving himself. And Luffy yells out, Yahoo, a banquet. Like another one. And then Nami grabs Luffy, and she yells out, hold it right there, Luffy. You had enough banquets, no? And she closes his mouth, and she said, we gotta set sail. Are you okay with just leaving Sanji's situation up in the air? And Luffy says, hey, why are you? And Nami says, I'm coming with you. I can't help but feel a bit responsible for what happened. Nami says, plus, are you telling me you can sail this ocean without a navigator? And she says, okay. And Chopper says, I'm coming too. Picom says, gravely injured. We need a doctor. And Luffy says, okay. And Brooke says, of course, when everyone gets depressed, we all need someone to play music. And he starts playing a song called Let's Go See Master Nico Mamushi. And Luffy says, okay. And Nami says, nah, we don't need him. And Brooke says, how rude. Stop excluding your own crew members. I also saw Sanji taken away before my very own eyes. And Kimon says, and then Luffy says, Kimon, I'll be taking these guys. Is that okay? And Kimon says, as if anyone could stop a man off to save his friends. In fact, if circumstances were not the way they are, I'll have liked to go with you. I'm indebted to Sanji after all. My apologies. He says the whole quiet infiltration plans look a bit unlikely now. And things go south. Y'all better double time it out of there. Then Usopp says, get Sanji back for us. No, that's what Frankie says. Frankie says the whole quiet infiltration plans look a bit unlikely now. And if things go south, y'all better double time it out of there. And then Luffy says, no, and then Ramen says, Luffy, if you happen to come across a poneglyph, could you make me a copy? And Luffy says, sure thing. And Usopp says, he's not off to the bookstore, you know. And Robin said, I'll take a look at the poneglyph that Kaji's got in Wano. And something's about to happen. Robin said, huh? What? And everything starts tilting. Luffy starts falling, and to the ground. Everyone's yelling, "Wah, wah, wah, kia!" And they make yell out, the island shaking. And Nico says, "Zisha is crying. What's the meaning of this?" And the dog says, "These quakes, I never felt anything like this." And Luffy says, "Huh? Whose voice is that? Whose voice?" And then Luffy, is that Marco? Because I'm seeing something that looks like the Moby Dick. No, that's not right. The Moby Dick's saying, I think that's Jack that's doing this. I'm pretty sure Luffy hears Jack. Like, shit, I don't know. Anyway, that's the end of it.